Hey everybody, this is Josh Jackson, aka New Joshua, back again with another unboxing video. This time it's a very exciting one because, as I mentioned in one of my first videos, I have every amiibo except for the Japanese exclusives. Well, getting a little bit closer to having the whole set because I just got my shipment in of the Monster Hunter Stories amiibo imported from Japan. So I'm not going to take too much time with all the introductions. I'm just going to go straight into opening these. These just looks, looking at them through the box, they just look so awesome. As a big fan of Monster Hunter, obviously having amiibo versions of them is like a no-brainer. But on top of that, just the design of these, even though it's more cartoony and all that, I think that they lend themselves really well to the figures. So I'm starting with the one-eyed Leolus and the boy avatar, which of course is a version of the Rathalos. And if you could see there how much detail it has, from the character's outfit to the amiibo itself for the Rathalos. Just everything from the weapons, the shield, the teeth on it, the designs, the markings on it. Just everything lends itself so well to the figure. It's a real shame that these aren't coming out in America, because looking at these are probably some of the best looking, if not the best looking amiibo available. And, you know, the game just came out. As of this recording, the game came out in America 2 weeks ago. And we still don't have a word on the amiibo release, so it's safe to say that they're not coming out here. Which is insane, because to me, it's not like Monster Hunter is a, you know, like a unknown series here in the States. Like, Monster Hunter has been proven to be a pretty big deal. And even though I know this is a spin-off, I still think it would have been a pretty safe bet to release these. But then again, you know, I'm not Capcom or Nintendo, so maybe they know something I don't. But here's the one-eyed Leolus with the girl avatar. You can see she actually doesn't have a sword and shield like the boy, but she has a much more whimsical, like, excited expression on her face instead of the determined one. The one-eyed Rathalos looks pretty similar to the other one. Doesn't have its mouth as wide open. It looks like it's more in mid-flight, or like it's getting ready to take off and fly, as opposed to the other one. But just kind of looking at this one, it's similar with the first one we showed, where the detail in the outfit's really, really well done. You have her cat ears at the top, obvious callback to the to our next character. So Naviro is going to be the next one that we open. Of course, is one of the feline characters from the Monster Hunter series, which have kind of become the mascot. And they did make, as far as I know at least, they did make their playable debut in last year's Monster Hunter Generations. This time, this one is just like kind of a version with its own personality and character. And obviously has a lot less detail, since it's just like the cartoony version of the feline instead of the detailed monster that we just went over, but it's still pretty cool looking. There's really no flaws with it. It looks pretty much as great as you're going to be able to get with this type of character. On top of that, I didn't mention this on the other ones, but the bases on each one looks really, really cool, with all the different etchings and markings that are reminiscent of the Monster Hunter series, with this kind of shiny silver that's plated each one. So I think it's pretty awesome. And one thing that I did want to make sure to mention too is that it has been confirmed that tapping this on the Animal Crossing New Leaf game with the Amiibo update is going to get you the feline and Monster Hunter themed visitor, which some people were curious as to whether or not that was going to work, since they weren't officially released here in the States. But it does work with the North American version. In addition, all of these Monster Hunter Amiibo do work with the Monster Hunter Stories video game in the Western release. So despite them not being officially released here, the game still has it programmed to where they're going to have the same function as the Japanese version. So you're still going to be able to get all the bonuses and all the goodies from that. So moving on to the Barrioros, which was one of my favorite monsters in Monster Hunter 4. I thought it was really fun to fight. So we've got its teeth, which are, you know, much more of a translucent color, with its belly kind of matching it and fading into white as we go down. You can see its spikes on the side, its wings, its tail. Once again, very detailed. You can see the scales at the bottom of that tail. And then the character at the top with not quite of an excited expression as the previous female character, but much more, you know, excited and whimsical compared to the boy. So we've got that one. And then next is a Dan and Kurapeko. So as we open up this one, of course Kurapeko is one of the early monsters that you fought, I believe, in Monster Hunter 3, if I remember correctly. Oh, and there you go. You actually learned something new as we go through them, because I don't know if this is the case for all the other ones. Let's find out. I'm going to take back this one that we just looked at. Oh yeah, and she comes out of the monster. I didn't realize that the riders could be taken out of the monster, but when I pulled the Kurapeko and Dan amiibo out of the box, I accidentally pulled him out and realized that, hey, you can display these separately, so that's even better. Considering the Kurapeko is kind of a silly monster, obviously I haven't played Monster Hunter Stories yet, so I don't know anything about the individual characters, but it's safe to say that this guy is kind of the friendly comic relief looking character with his goofy expression and his look. It kind of looks like a type of oaf character. So correct me if I'm wrong, of course, but that's the impression I'm getting from the start. And you could see the Kurapeko's trademark neck as it would expand to call for help. It was also one of its weak points. You go all the way around, you could see that its cactus-like tail is on display. You got its wings and its bright colors. It's very well represented compared to its original showing in the original Monster Hunter games. So then last and certainly not least is the Leoleo and Cheval amiibo, which is going back to one of the stronger dragons from some of the classic Monster Hunter games. If I were to guess, once again knowing nothing about the plot of the game, I'm guessing that this would be kind of like the rival character just off of first glance. But knowing that he's riding such a fearsome monster kind of lends credence to the idea that it's going to be a much more powerful character within the game. Taking a very aggressive stance with his glowing blade, almost looks like flames. Kind of reminds me of the God of War Chains of Olympus a little bit, just so the way it's kind of glowing in the etchings. But as we go around, you see the armor and the goggles, once again, are all very detailed. I have all the scales on the dragon with the markings on its wings. And this one's just taking a much more aggressive stance than most of the other ones. You know, as we mentioned, with the very first one that we looked at was kind of looked like it was in mid-battle. So I feel like these two would go really well together if you were going to display them and maybe have them facing each other. That would look really, really cool. But as we go through these, it's clear that all of them had a lot of detail and thought put into them, which once again is a real shame that they're not going to be released here in the States. But anyway, that's about all that we've got for the Monster Hunter amiibo. The only one that I'm missing right now is the BOXBOY one, so unfortunately it's like $30, $40, $50 every time I look. I'll definitely do a short video to celebrate obtaining that one as soon as I have it. But as always, thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed checking out all the Monster Hunter amiibos. There's still places that you could find them online. Amazon. I got mine from PlayAsia, where you can get them for relatively cheap. You know, I would recommend, if you're a big collector or you're a Monster Hunter fan, jump on them while you can before they get too inflated. Because now that the game's out, and now that it seems relatively clear it's not coming out here, I can see them being in much higher demand as time goes on. But once again, as always, make sure to check me out over at geekscape.net, where we have all of our articles, videos, and pretty much anything that you could want. Oh, a cameo from my cat. But anything geek related, make sure to check out geekscape.net. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter at InuJoshua, INUJOSHUA, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you like what you see. Let me know what kind of content you'd want to see going forward as we kind of put together this channel and kind of find our identity. But once again, thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys next time. Alright, bye everyone.